Hello dear student, last lecture we saw the first biomolecule, that is carbohydrate. So now in this lecture we'll see the next biomolecule, that is protein. Okay. So what is the protein? Protein are the fundamental structural material of animal bodies. The protein, so in the form of enzymes, and play prime role in all the physiological reactions. The name protein is derived from, that is a Greek word, that is a proteos, so which means primary or prime importance. So the nutritional source, different nutritional sources of protein like milk, pulses, then nuts, fish, meat. These are the nutritional source of protein. So chemically, these proteins are the polyamides, which are high molecular weights, and polymer of monomers is a unit called as a alpha amino acids. So alpha amino acids, protein on complete hydrolysis. If the protein it undergo hydrolysis, so we'll give the mixture of alpha amino acids. Okay. So alpha amino acids are the carboxylic acids having an amino, that is NH2 group, and this NH2 group is bonded to the alpha carbon, and that is the carbon next to the carboxyl group. So here you can see this alpha amino acids, alpha carbon chiral, this is the alpha amino acids and alpha carbon chiral. So these are the example of different proteins. This neutral alpha amino acids. These are the neutral alpha amino acids. These are the different example of acidic amino acids, and these are the basic amino acids. Okay. So this R group is different. Okay. This R group is a different for each amino acids. So this amino acids has, or the proteins has important property, that is this alpha amino acids molecules contain the both acidic or carboxylic group. Okay, acidic or carboxylic group. So as well as basic amino groups, acidic carboxylic group as well as basic amino, that is carboxylic and amino groups. Okay, this proton transfer from acid group to basic group of amino acid forms salt. Okay, so the proton transfer from acidic group to basic group and the formation of salt, and which is a dipolar ion, so this is called as a deuterion. It's called as a deuterion when the proton transfer from acidic group to the basic group of amino acids to form the salts, that is called as a deuterions. Okay. Then peptide bond and proteins. Peptide bond and proteins. See, protein are formed. This protein are formed by connecting alpha amino acids. This protein are formed by the connecting of alpha amino acids to each other. The bond that connect alpha amino acids to each other is called as a peptide bond. So see, this is the peptide bonds. When this protein are formed by the connecting of alpha amino acids to each other, the bond that connect the alpha amino acids to each other is called as a peptide bond. So here example we will consider, so linking the molecule of glycine or alanine. Okay, the formation of glycine alanine. Okay, the linking between the glycine or alanine, the formation of glycyl alanine. So the bond between this glycine or alanine is called as a peptide bonds. Okay, this result, but the how this bond get formation take place by the elimination of water molecules, by the elimination of H2 and the formation of dipeptide called as a, that is the final product is a glycyl alanine. So in which two amino acids unit are linked, in which two amino acid units are linked. So when the number of alpha amino acids linked by the peptide bond is more than 10, so the product is called as a polypeptides. If the alpha amino acids is linked by the peptide bond more than 10, so that's called as a polypeptides. Okay. So then type of proteins. So which are the different type of proteins we'll see. So depending upon the molecular shape, depending upon the molecular shape, the proteins are classified into two types. That is, first is a globular proteins and another one is a fibrous protein. So what is the globular protein? So globular proteins, the molecule of globular protein have spherical shape. So name itself indicates globular. That means spherical in shape. The shape result from so coiling around the polypeptide chain of the proteins. Okay. So this shape, the proteins, this globular protein have spherical shape. So because of this spherical shape, so they undergo coiling around the polypeptide chain of proteins. So globular proteins are soluble in water. So for example, we'll say the for example of globular protein is insulin, egg albumin, then serum albumin, and leguminins, that is protein in pulses. Then next type of protein is a fibrous protein. So molecule of fibrous protein is elongated, then rod-like shape. This shape is the result of holding polypeptide chain of the protein and parallel to each other. So hydrogen bond and disulfide bonds are responsible for the fibrous protein. Fibrous proteins are long is because of the disulfide bond is responsible for the shape. The fibrous proteins are is insoluble in water. So example keratin, this keratin proteins are present in our hair, nail or in wool. Then next fibrous protein is myosin. These proteins are present in our muscles. The shape of protein molecules are the result of four level structure of protein. We'll see here. So shape of structure of protein. So proteins are responsible for variety of functions in organisms. So protein of hair, protein muscles, the skin. So because of this protein, it gives the shape or the structures. Okay. So while enzymes are the proteins, these enzymes plays an important role in physiological reactions. It catalyzes the physiological reaction. This diverse function of protein can be understood by the studying the four level structure of protein. So that primary, namely primary, secondary, tertiary or quaternary structure of protein. Now what is the primary structure of protein? Primary structure of protein is the sequence. Primary structure of protein is the sequence of constituents alpha amino acids residues linked by the peptide bond. That is a alpha amino acids are sequence of constituent alpha amino acids residue linked by the peptide bond. Here you can see that this is the representation by the structural formula. You can see these are the this is primary structure of proteins. Then secondary structure of protein. So this secondary structure of protein is a three-dimensional arrangement of localized region of protein chain is called as a secondary structure of protein. So this secondary structure is a 3D or a three-dimensional arrangement of the protein. So this hydrogen bonding between this nitrogen and hydrogen proton of one amide linkage and the carboxyl oxygen of another give rise to the secondary structure. So two type of secondary structures is commonly found in protein, that is alpha helix structure and beta plated sheet. Here in this figure you can see this is backbone of the alpha helix structure and this is the beta plated sheet. So here nitrogen hydrogen proton on the one amide link with the, so nitrogen and hydrogen proton is linked to the this carbon and oxygen of another and give rise to this secondary or three-dimensional structure. Okay, so next, tertiary structure of protein. See, this tertiary structure of protein, this also adopt the three-dimensional shape. Okay, so adopt the three-dimensional shape, and this adopted by the entire polypeptide chain of protein. So here you can see the tertiary structure of protein. So it is a result folding of chain in a particular manner. The structure itself stabilizes and also has attractive interactions with aqueous environment of the cell. So this globular and fibrous protein present two major molecular shape resulting from the tertiary structure. See, the forces that stabilize the particular tertiary structure include the hydrogen bonding, then dipole-dipole attraction is there, then electrostatic attraction is there, and also their London dispersion force is also there. So because of this, the tertiary structure is particular three-dimensional shape. Okay. So then quaternary structure of protein. What is the quaternary structure of protein? When two or more polypeptide chain, when two or more polypeptide chains with folded tertiary structure and come together into one protein complex. Okay. So here two or more polypeptide chains with folded tertiary structure and come together into one protein complex. The resulting shape is called as a quaternary structure of protein. When two or more polypeptide chains, here you can see primary structure, secondary structure, then tertiary structure, then finally formation of the quaternary structure. This in primary structure alpha amino acids, and secondary structure beta plated sheet, then here also tertiary. So here when two or more polypeptide chains is folded, tertiary structures come together. Okay, tertiary structure come together into one protein complex. So the finally formation of one protein complex, and the resulting shape is called as a quaternary structure of protein. So this is the quaternary structure of protein. So few example of quaternary structure of protein. So here we'll see the hemoglobin. Okay, so hemoglobin, you might be know that hemoglobin is a oxygen carrying proteins. Okay, so this the hemoglobin is a quaternary structure of protein. Okay, so this is the quaternary structure of protein. See, this hemoglobin consists of four subunits. Okay, this hemoglobin consists of four subunits and called uh, heme held. Okay, that heme is held together by the intermolecular forces in a compact three-dimensional shape. That is a heme group, or the heme held together by the intermolecular forces in a compact three-dimensional shape. So then next important property, that is a denaturation of protein. So what is exactly denaturation of protein? So denaturation is the process by which molecular shape of protein changes without breaking the amide peptide bond that form the primary structure. See, the denaturation of protein is depend upon the different external factor you can say. So because of the temperature, if we heat the any protein, so because of the heating, the whatever the bond between that or the bond of the protein peptide bond, okay, it get break down. Okay, so then if we change the pH, also denaturation of protein is taking place. So denaturation is nothing but the breakdown of the protein. Denaturation is nothing but the breakdown of the protein. So denaturation is the process by which the molecular shape of protein change. Suppose consider the if we have the protein and we heat that protein, so what will happen? The shape of that protein, the shape of that protein is changed. So that means the peptide bonds, it undergo breakdowns. Okay, so that means if we have the tertiary or quaternary proteins, if we heat that protein, so what will happen? The peptide bond get break, and the formation of primary structure of that protein. Okay, so here we'll consider the example. So globular proteins are typically folded. Okay, so globular proteins, they are folded with the hydrophobic side chain. These globular protein are the typically folded with the hydrophobic side chain. So in the interior, polar residue on the outside, and thereby are water solubles. So denaturation expose to hydrophobic region of globular protein to make them water insoluble. See, globular protein are the typically is hydrophobic side chain in the interior and polar residue on the outside. So and thereby are water soluble. So denaturation, see this is the coiled globular protein. This is the coiled globular protein. After denaturation, the loose coil and loose. Okay, that means the original structure get changed. Original structure of that protein get changed. So that is called a denaturation of protein. Okay, so then important the the next important point is enzymes. These are enzymes. So enzymes also compose from the proteins. That means these enzymes are the biological catalyst. Enzymes are the biological catalyst. So that means they are increase the rate of physiological reaction. Enzymes are the biological catalyst which increase the rate of physiological reaction. So which are the biological enzymes? For example, insulin. So the insulin plays an important role. It's regulate the blood sugar level. So these enzymes, the insulin is secreted by the pancreas, and this insulin is control the blood sugar level. Okay. So then next enzyme is amylase. So this enzymes is present in saliva. Okay. So it's this amylase is helpful in digestion process. Okay, so are the hydrolyzed starch. Okay, so then what is the mechanism of enzyme catalysis? How exactly the particular enzyme is functioning? Okay, how the particular enzyme is work? See, with the help of this figure you will understand the action of enzyme on substrate, describe and lock and key mechanism. See, this is the enzymes, this is the yellow color enzymes, and this enzyme having active site like lock and key mechanisms. When this substrate is attached to this enzymes, when this substrate is attached to this enzyme, so their formation of enzyme substrate complex. There is a formation of enzyme substrate complex. So then after the formation of enzyme substrate complex, so we'll get the product and enzymes will be remains as it is. This enzymes is remains as it is. That means this enzyme is not affect in the reaction. That means it not shows in the reaction, but it's only increase the rate of reaction. So this is the mechanism of enzyme enzyme catalysis. So here substrate and this is enzyme having the active site. When the enzyme and substrate they are coming together, the formation of the enzyme substrate complex, and this because of this enzyme substrate complex, so you get the product. And so this mechanism is based on the lock and key mechanism. So that means only particular substrate can uh, attach to this active site. Only the particular substrate or can attach to this active site of this enzymes. Okay, so this is about the enzymes. So next, some example of industrial application of enzyme catalysis. So which are the enzymes we are use in industrial level for the for certain purposes. So conversion of glucose to sweet testing fructose using glucose isomerase. So if you want to convert the glucose into fructose, if you want to convert the glucose into fructose, for that we will use the enzyme that is a glucose isomerase. We'll use the glucose isomerase. These enzymes, these glucose isomerase enzymes convert the glucose into the fructose. Okay. So then these enzymes plays an important role in a manufacture of antibiotics. Okay. So with the help of these enzymes, we can manufacture the new antibiotics such as penicillin. Okay, so penicillin, then acylase G acylase. Okay, penicillin G acylase. So different antibiotics we can manufacture by using the different enzymes. Okay, so then so manufacture of the laundry detergents. So by using certain enzymes such as proteases. Yeah, proteases. So by using this proteases, we can manufacture the laundry detergents. Okay, so these are the then next one is the manufacture of esters using cosmetics, usually genetically engineered enzymes. So we can modify the enzymes or its activity genetically. Okay, so for that we are one of the branch that is genetic engineering. In that genetic engineering we can modify the activity of enzymes, and in manufacturing of esters. This esters is used in cosmetics, that the manufacturing of esters, so we can use certain genetically modified enzymes. Okay, so that's for that for our own purposes. So this is the industrial application of enzymes. Okay, so this is about the biomolecules proteins. In this we saw the proteins, which are different structure of proteins, how the protein are get forms. So then we saw the enzymes. Okay, so then mechanism of enzymes, and we saw the certain industrial application of enzymes. In next lecture we'll see the next biomolecules, that is amino acids. Okay, so thank you.